Maybe time doesn't heal all wounds. Isiah Thomas brought his long-running beef with Michael Jordan back to the surface during a recent interview on the All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. The Hall of Famer still takes issue with how he was portrayed in The Last Dance, the popular ESPN documentary series that debuted in 2020.
You got on national television and you called me asshole. And then you said you hated me. You said that on national television. Now, if you didn't mean it, get on national television
and say that
and apologize for it. Now, if you meant it, let it ride as it is.
Thomas echoed previous comments that he made about Jordan at the 2022 NBA Abu Dhabi games.
When I was watching The Last Dance, I'm sitting there, I'm watching it with my family, and I'm thinking everything's good. And then this guy comes on television and he says that he hates me, and then he calls me an asshole. And then I proceed to watch a whole documentary about him being an asshole. I'm like, wait a minute, time out. But no, it's, until I get public apology, this beef's gonna go on for a long, long time, because I'm from the west side of Chicago.
Now, let's take a step back and examine why this rivalry started. Before Jordan's Bulls became a dynasty, they struggled to advance past Thomas's Pistons, losing to Detroit in the 1988, 1989, and 1990 NBA playoffs, before finally breaking through in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago swept its way to the NBA Finals, closing out the series with a 115-94 victory in Game 4. With 7.9 seconds left remaining in regulation, Pistons players walked off the floor right past the Bulls' bench without the customary handshakes. Cameras followed Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, and Mark Aguirre as they headed toward the locker room before the final buzzer sounded. During his interview for The Last Dance, Thomas expressed regret and conceded that he should have congratulated the Bulls.
whatever he says now, it wasn't his true actions then. It's time enough to think about it. Or the reaction of the public that's kind of changed his perspective of it. Yeah, you can show me anything you want. There's no way you can convince me he wasn't that though.
The Pistons played tough, physical basketball and did all they could to stop MJ. Considering that Jordan had many battles against them, he wanted Thomas, the former Pistons point guard, to appear in The Last Dance.
Now, his producer and Mike, they called me. Hey, we need you in the video. Can't tell my story without you. You're so important. Now I'm thinking we all cool.
The Pistons legend said that he spent 2 hours talking for the documentary and had a lot of good stuff to say, but most of his interview was not used. Thomas also revealed that he did not get a check for his interview. He did not ask for it either, as he wanted to help Michael Jordan.
I came up in the era where we give each other knowledge. The game
Free game
is meant to be told.
Not sold.
Not sold, right? This is a generation that has flipped it all around. So we don't work with each other. We don't share with each other. We don't pass on knowledge. We don't uplift each other, And so I went there to uplift.
Show him some love.
Jordan's presence on the 1992 Dream Team was then viewed by many as the primary reason why Thomas didn't make the roster. Thomas said it personally hurt him to be left off the Dream Team, and he discussed the potential impact of his infamous walk-off.
The only thing that's missing from my resume is not being on the Dream Team. Now, when the Dream Team was selected and I wasn't a part of it, there was a lot of controversy around it. And I still don't know, who did it or why they say I didn't make it. I know the criteria for selection of making a team, I had fit all the criteria. And that's a big hole in my resume. That is the biggest hole in my resume. That is the only place, and that's the only thing on my resume that I did not succeed at. I tried to do everything correctly, and I thought I should have made that Dream Team. However, I wasn't a part of it. That hurt me. And looking back, if I'm not a part of the Dream Team because, a lapse in emotion in terms of not shaking someone's hand, if that's the reason why I didn't make the Dream Team, then I am more disappointed today than I was back then when I wasn't selected.
Jordan wasn't the only hurdle for Thomas, though. He wasn't seen favorably in the eyes of Scottie Pippen and Karl Malone, and Magic Johnson later admitted in his book when the game was ours. He was opposed to Thomas joining the Dream Team. It's not like Larry Bird was going to bat for Thomas either, after the ugly battles between the Celtics and Pistons in the 1980s. In a viral tweet revealing how MJ dropped 59 points against the Pistons in 1988, Thomas wrote, "35 years ago, I led my bad boy at Detroit Pistons to the NBA Finals. It all depends on which story you want to tell and sell." Although Michael Jordan averaged 27.4 points per game in that respective 1988 playoff series against the Detroit Pistons, the latter team emerged victorious in a 5-game affair, perhaps in an era where the media hailed the narrative of Magic Johnson's LA Lakers, Larry Bird's Celtics, and Jordan's Bulls reigning superior in the NBA. Thomas's Pistons disrupted the entire basketball cycle by winning 2 consecutive titles, 1989 and 1990, courtesy of their physical defense. For those unaware, before the Chicago Bulls ended the Pistons' short-lived dynasty in 1991, the Pistons overcame the struggles they faced against the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pistons eventually beat the Los Angeles Lakers in the finals the following season. Meanwhile, Isiah's underrated squad bounced Michael Jordan out of the playoffs 2 years in a row. That is just why Thomas previously had no hesitation in naming the Pistons as the most influential team of all time. The 12-time All-Star exclaimed,
What I would say, who's been the most impactful team on the NBA, it's the Detroit Pistons. Mm-hmm. When you look at our style of play, pick and roll basketball, stretch 5 in Lambeer, small guards, shooting from the perimeter. We didn't have a post-up player. The way we influenced the game, little guys like myself, we weren't supposed to win.
Thomas's frustration does have a point. While Michael Jordan fought against the Pistons vigorously, their efforts should have been emphasized more by the media and regular fans. The Jordan-led Bulls locked horns against the Detroit Pistons 4 years in a row. Zeke's team emerged victorious in each of the first 3 meetings, handling Jordan his biggest professional beating during the initial years of his NBA career. The two sides have had animosity toward each other ever since, with Jordan making it known how much he hates the Pistons. Jordan has often complained about the bad boy Pistons' physical defense against him. However, according to Thomas, Jordan's complaints are not justified.
Yeah. So they was laying wood, man. They was laying hardwood. But Jordan was the only one still crying today. They hit it hard, they fouled hard, they was dirty. Look what they did. They show you all the clips, right? Yeah. They show you all a few video clips and tell the world this is how they played.
Yeah.
They'll never show you the game.
Yeah.
There's a guy during that time got hit harder and more times than Isiah Thomas driving down the lane. I got the scars for it, but I ain't never cried. Mm-hmm. I just got up, went to the foul line. But, he went to the league office, They wrote newspaper articles about it. You sitting here talking about the Jordan rules. Hey, man, we had Kareem rules. We had Magic rules. So don't make it sound like it was something really special for him. No.
Right.
Isiah Thomas said that Jordan should appear on the All the Smoke podcast and talk about the documentary with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, but that is not happening. To put it simply, these two basketball legends still feel a lot of animosity toward each other, and that is unlikely to dissipate anytime soon. Honestly, I can't imagine the GOAT apologizing to anyone, but maybe that's what makes him the GOAT. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. What do you think about this long-lasting feud between Isiah and Jordan? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing NBA content. Thanks for watching.